Hey guys, welcome back to Barrovian Made. Today we're going to be ripping off Cam from Blacktail Studio's table. Now, when I say rip off, I say that pretty lightly. I'm going to be using a lot cheaper materials. Basically, the whole point of this video is I want to see if I can make his $13,000 table for as cheap as possible and see if we can achieve the same, if not similar, look. So I am a lot less experienced than Cam from Blacktail Studio, and I just want to give him a shout out, even though it means nothing with this small little channel. But I just want to say he's the guy that inspired me to woodwork in the first place. The past 2 years, it's basically been all down to him when I stumbled upon his videos one day. So Cam, if you're watching, please don't get angry. I just thought it'd be a nice video to do. But yeah, let's get on to the build. So the first thing we're going to do is plane all of these boards down. Now I have 6 of these boards that my Uncle Simon gave to me. By the way, Simon says subscribe to the channel. Sorry for that one, guys. I had to put it in there. But yeah, I have no idea what these boards even are. I first thought they might have been pine just because of how light they are, but the grain is really tight on them. So I'm not quite sure what type of wood it is. I'll start planing these down. I'll give you a close up on the look of the grain. Maybe you guys in the comments below can tell me what type of wood it is. But enough talking, let's go. These are the plain pieces now. You guys let me know in the comments below if you know what sort of wood this is. It's got a very tight grain and a pinkish tinge to it. It looks similar to that red oak I had in some places, but I don't think it's the red oak. It's way too light to be that. No idea what it is, but let me know in the comments below if you know what it is. So what we're going to do next is we're going to grab our planks of wood, walk it over to the table saw, and we're going to get some nice clean flat edges to do a nice panel glue up. And luckily, these edges were already pretty flat, so I didn't have to do any sketchy things to make nice perfectly flat surfaces. I could easily just run them through the table saw and it came out nice and perfect first try. We're going to be doing 2 panel glue ups in this one. We're going to do 2 boards for the base, 3 boards for the top, and we'll be cutting them into circles just like Cam's table. So now that we got all them off, we're going to take it over to the clamps, which by the way guys, I hope you like the new camera angles. I splashed out a tenner to get a head mount for my camera. Let me know in the comments below if you like the transitions between my head camera and my normal fixed camera. But yeah, I think it looks kind of snazzy. As you can see there, I'm frantically looking around the workshop trying to find something to spread the glue with. I think it looked kind of funny with the new camera angles, but I'll move on from the camera angles. We're doing a video here, Travis. Stop talking about your equipment. Now, one thing I did one thing I did find out during the making of this video was too much glue can be too much glue sometimes. I recently saw when I was stripping all these down, into their round pieces, that the offcuts, they broke quite easily, and I looked, and the glue in the center, like the glue on the outer edges was dry, but the glue in the center was still wet. So I don't know. Might be because we're in winter and I was doing this in a cold shed and then I brought it inside, so maybe the core temperature of the wood was still low enough that the glue didn't dry properly. Or what I'm thinking is that I just put too much glue on it and it didn't have a chance to fully set because, I don't know, thinner glue dries quicker. So I think in projects moving forward, I'm going to use a lot less glue. The glue in these panels will be dry by now, because I took this apart the day after, didn't I? So, of course, it's going to be a bit more wetter. But usually, because I work with thinner stock, it's not like that. I can drench it in glue. It all squeezes, all the stuff I don't need squeezes out, and it's all good. But I think for thicker boards and stuff like that, I need to use a little bit less glue so I can get a full bond and it dries quicker. But talking about thinner stock and how I'm used to using thinner stock, all my router bits are way too small to cut out this chunky stuff. So usually I'd attack it one side and then I'd get the flush trim bit, flip it over and take it all out there. Then I get a perfectly round circle with nice clean edges. But this was too thick, and even attacking it from both sides with my cutting tool, I still didn't manage to burst all the way through. So I had to do all that, then do some dodgy stuff with the flush trim bit and the collet. Won't go into details because I don't want you guys repeating it, but people that have already done it before will already know what I'm talking about. uh, to take out that little bit in the middle, and it was a little bit sketchy, was a little bit dodgy, but we got the job done in the end, and it took a lot of cleanup afterwards as well, because when I drilled that hole in the center initially, it wasn't perfectly aligned, so the two sides came out a little bit mismatch. But I managed to go around with a flush trim bit, slowly take bits off, average out all the inconsistencies, and we still ended up with a nice round tabletop, which was perfect. And FYI, just looking at this, I need to sharpen these bits. You can see it's kicking out more dust than it is chips, which just clogged everything up and made life a living hell. But moving on from that, we'll go in towards the, what would you call this part? It's part of the base. I'm going to call it the strut for now. Going on to the strut, making sure we get it nice and square before we glue it to the base. My original plan for this was to turn it down on the lathe, but as you can see in my last video, which I'll link in the corner, I had a little accident with the lathe that meant my body was out of commission for 2 months while I was recovering, which is also the reason why this video has taken so long to come out, because I started this just before the accident and couldn't carry on with it till after my accident. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But the shed came in handy there, managed to use the roof as a clamp, just flipped the clamp upside down and managed to push it against the table to get it to set properly. So that's been the only time in the, 2 or 3 years I've been doing this, that having a small workshop has actually came in handy. But yeah, we're power carving this instead of using the lathe. Like I said, my injury and stuff, I was a little bit worried about using the lathe. But also, I wouldn't have been able to turn the base, well, it's all the base in it, but the base of the base on the lathe, because it has a too large diameter. So that would have needed power carving anyway, so I might as well go ahead and power carve the whole thing. And oh my god, the amount of dust this created. I took so much material off. I kind of wish I started with smaller stock, or I did something to avoid this amount of waste, but you can see progressively in these clips, my whole shed is just getting caked in dust. And don't worry guys, I am wearing a respirator in this. But it was absolutely horrific. Like, look at the amount of dust that's coming off. It took just as long to clean up all this dust than it did to actually power carve this, but now we got all that mostly cleaned up and it's all power carved and roughed in. We're going to go ahead with a spoke shave. We're going to take off all the high points and slowly fine tune this into the shape that we want it. I guess if you're quick on your feet, you could just do it all with the power carving, but I find it much easier just to rough it all in and then just spend some time with the spoke shave and planers just to get it nice and perfect. And you can see with the amount of chips, I've been going at it a while, and this took a long time. Hand carving things and using hand tools takes a very, very, very long time, so I'm definitely starting to understand the $13,000 price tag that Blacktail Studio puts on one of these tables. Also because of the premium products and the epoxy and how much all that costs and stuff, and the brand associated with it. Because I don't think I'd be able to sell this table for anywhere close to 13,000. I think I'd be stretching it even trying to sell it for $1,000. I'm not a massive fan of this wood. The longer I'm working with it, brilliant stuff to work with, carves beautifully and stuff, but the overall look and feel and the density of it, it's not very nice. You can see that the grain is dead tightly packed, but there's nothing to it, if you know what I mean. There's no character. It's just wood. And the colour of it as well, it's something that I wouldn't be able to match in a home. If I were to bring this home, I couldn't look at a place in the house that I could put it where it'd match everything else. So it also needs staining and dyeing. And once you stain and dye wood, it looks good, but it never looks premium. So that's definitely another reason why the $13,000 table would probably be better, because he's using premium materials like walnut, where it's nice and dark, where you can easily match it to other things in the house and make everything look good together. But this sort of pinkish tinged beigeish wood, That's pretty boring. I don't think it's going to do much. I will say though, the only interesting thing about this wood that I'm using in this project is it has like a holographic effect. Is holographic the right word to use? I don't know. But you know those uh, bits of card you used to get when you were younger, where you'd flicker it towards the sun and you'd see it like change colours or it'd make a different shape. I guess the best way to describe it is chatoyancy. I think that's the right word to use for the wood. It has a lot of that, but not in the same way that you see in other woods. I don't know. It kind of this wood, once it's all polished up, it kind of looks, in person anyway, like there's more depth to it, but it's not good depth. It's like boring, weird depth, if that makes any sense. I'm really hating on this wood, and I don't know. Maybe you guys like the look of it. I think it looks nice. I just don't think it's brilliant. I don't think it's premium. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to sell this thing for any more than £100. So, you know, I don't know. I think it still came out good. So you guys are gonna have to, you know, tell me in the comments below what you think of the look of this table and how it compares to Blacktail Studio's table. Personally, I think it's lacking character. I don't like the colour, and the wood is way too soft. Like I could dig a fingernail into it. So you can imagine daily use in a house where keys are going to get thrown in it, plant pots are going to get put in it, and all sorts. It's going to get beaten up real quickly. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm meant to be talking this table up, but we're making a video here. Yeah, this table's brilliant. Sanded it up all the way, and it's lovely and sturdy. Oh god, I'm gonna shut up. Let's get on with the video. Right, we're drilling into this now to put some threaded inserts in. This is how Blacktail Studio also attaches his tables. In the older days, he used to use brackets and things like that, but I love the simplicity of the way he does it nowadays, of just two oh my god, I'm forgetting what they're called. Sorry guys, it's been so long since I've been doing the woodworking and stuff. I've had a good whack to the head and everything. My brain runs a little bit slower nowadays. I'll get back up to speed soon, but threaded inserts, there we go. We're putting in threaded inserts. I'm countersinking the holes. He likes to put two threaded inserts in, one on the base, one on the top, and he has a stud that runs in the middle of it. I love the simplicity of it. It works well. It's fairly strong for what it is, and I don't see any reason to start using fancy brackets and stuff like that when you can see the bracket. It's it looks less like one natural piece, if that makes any sense. When you just have this stud, when you're looking at it from the outside, it's just wood flowing. So I think it looks a lot better. But yeah, you get to see now in a minute what I'm talking about with this wood. Once we put on the oil, it's just pretty boring. There's not much to it, but it does have a glimmer and a lot of like chatoyancy, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. It's quite interesting to look at. It's not something I'd personally have in my home. And also, you can see everything sort of looks like the same colour when I'm putting it on, especially the base. But have a look at the base when we go to put some oil on it and just watch what happens. Because the middle part, it comes out a lovely, lovely dark colour, and I really like it. But the bottom part stays bright, and it's a completely different colour. But beforehand, it looked the same. I felt cheated at this point because I was like, well, this doesn't look like one piece anymore. I've completely wasted my time in flowing all of it into one piece. But hey ho, it still kind of looks cool. But there's one present issue that is really getting to me. It's staring at me in the face, and I can't stop thinking about it. All runs back to that mistake when I drilled all the way through. And it just keeps looking at me, and it's doing my head in. This table was meant to be finished, and I was meant to have it out the workshop, but I can't have it. We've got to do an inlay. So we are going to put a diamond into the top of this table using some darker wood. I have no idea what the wood is. All my wood is reclaimed. So the only things I know that I do have is oak, and that's because oak is very, very easy to identify from other things. But For anyone asking, this is wood. It's a brown wood, and we're going to be inlaying it into the table. And yes, I am very aware I'm using a plane in a metal vise. The teeth on it need sharpening anyway. The teeth, what am I talking about? The blade on it needs sharpening anyway. So I'm not too bothered. I was just trying to get this down as evenly as possible, making as straight cuts as possible. So when I come to do the inlay, I don't have any worries or issues with carving it into the table. So once we get our diamond all nicely carved out, is this considered carving? I don't know. But once we get it all nice and cut, oh, I'm also using the device as a guide as well. I don't know if you can tell, but I line up all my lines with it, and I work it down with a plane until I start hitting the vise, and then I know that I've hit my lines. So anyway, now that we got our diamond all out, we're gonna sand some of that hard wax oil off because my masking tape doesn't stick to the oily stuff, so I have to take it back down to bare wood. Put the masking tape down. We're gonna trace out our diamond and then just do our inlay. And while I'm going ahead and doing this inlay, I just want to say a big thank you to the people who have bought me a coffee on Buy Me a Coffee. It's really helped me out. I've managed to get myself a small little part-time housekeeping job for now. There doesn't seem to be a lot of jobs going at the minute, and so it's paying for the essentials, but there's still not a lot of money left over. So the people that have donated, when they did donate, I really needed it at that time. I've literally only, as I'm recording this, I got this job like a week or two ago, and I get paid weekly now. So I'm slowly chipping away at the debts that I've accumulated over the past couple of months from being jobless. But I can't thank you guys enough for donating. It's really helped me out. It's bought me some food, and it's paid my car insurance and stuff. So big thank you. And if anyone else wants to donate, the links down in the description. Seriously guys, no pressure though. Watching my videos is all I can ask for you guys. Donating is just a little bit extra. So if you want to donate, go ahead. But most of all, watch my content, enjoy it, throw a comment, have a little discussion down there. That's all I want from you guys, just to sit and enjoy this content. Throw a subscribe up there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling. I need to get back into the habit of making videos again. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've kind of struggled voiceover in this video. And I'm kind of at this point thinking, do I even post this video? It seems to be a bit all over the place, but I need to just post something to interact with you guys and get it all back out there again. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, back onto the video. We're oiling it up, got the diamond nice and set in there. But as you can see there, I've bent over the fibers and it looks like a gap, but it's not. I think I didn't chisel enough out in that corner, so it's just left like crushed fibers where it's being pushed back into the wood, and it's showing itself in the oil, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know. I think I've pushed the fibers over by compressing it too much, by having too tight of an inlay. So it's disappointing, but I don't really want to put that many more hours into this table, since I'm not really a massive fan of the table. And this is always a very satisfying part of putting the tabletop on, just spinning it around. I quite like making these round tables. I'm not a big fan of the round tables, but the making process I'm quite a fan of. But it's the finished project, and you can sort of get what I mean with the pinkish tinge and how the wood grain's a little bit boring. I couldn't really see this fitting into anyone's home, really. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know. So you guys in the comments below, let me know how it did. How does this compare to Cam's table from Blacktail Studio? And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Sorry it was a bit all over the place. I'll get better at voicing over again once I get back into the swing of things. But yeah, this is the table, and I'll see you in the next one.